Hey guys, it's Sarah with Straight Up Homeschool. Today I'm giving my review of Shormann Math, the pre-algebra level. We are currently on lesson 35 out of 100, so a little over a third of the way done. I have been doing the curriculum alongside my child. I just wanted to see how it went, how the teaching method, everything. I was maybe feeling a little bit controlling, but I just really wanted to see how it worked. So we previously used the Good and the Beautiful level 5. The Good and the Beautiful only goes to level 8. So my son was going into 6th grade. I felt like that was a good time to transition to a math curriculum that would take him all the way, through junior high and high school, and go as high as he wanted to go. He is very math brained, science brained, and so I want to make sure I set him up for success and give him the ability to go to college for whatever he wants to go for if he chooses to go to college. So that is kind of the main reason that we switched from the Good and the Beautiful. When he was done with level 5, we had him take a placement test from Shormann Math. Shormann Math is really great. If you have any questions about which level or want, just more knowledge or insight into the decision-making process, my experience with them has been really good. They've been really helpful. They've answered all my questions and they are very thorough. So we've had a good experience with that. My review is 2 thumbs up. I do really love Shormann Math. And I'll get into the details in my review of why I like it, what I don't like, and things I wish I knew before I bought the curriculum. So I did write everything down. I don't have a visual for you because we don't use a book. We do it all digitally. They do have a book available if you want one. But if you see me glancing over to the side, it's because I'm referring to my notes. I have everything written out that I want to tell you, and I just want to make sure that I am detailed in my review and tell you the information that will help you make a decision if, it's a good fit for your family, for your child. So I will get started on telling you why I chose Shormann Math for my 6th grader. I will be right back. I'm going to talk about why I chose Shormann Math. The first reason I already touched on. Shormann Math goes all the way up to Calculus 2 with honors, so it will be something my son can use all the way through high school. That was something really important to me. I don't like switching curriculums. It makes me nervous every time I switch curriculums. And so anyways, that was one thing that was a requirement for me. I was not willing to waver on that requirement, is that the curriculum we chose would go all the way through high school and set my child up for a successful career in math or in sciences, whatever he wants to do. I wanted to make sure that I equipped him as a homeschool mom and teacher to have any, ability that he wanted to, any opportunity. And so, yes, it goes up to Calculus 2 with honors, and you can get college credits for it also. I don't know a lot about college credits yet. We're not to that point, but I know you can, and it says it on the website. So yes, I'm not quite there yet. The second is I really like that it's an e-learning platform. Originally, I was not looking for an e-learning platform, and I viewed that as a negative thing. As I thought about it and prayed about it, I really was more open to the idea of my son having the experience of learning on the tablet, of having a lecture on the tablet and doing some amount of his work on, the laptop, on the screen, whatever digital device you're using. And they do have an offline version and they do have a textbook version now. But just really pray about it and consider the e-learning environment, because again, that was something that I was very against and viewed as a big negative against Shormann. And now I'm like, oh, I'm so glad that we chose to do that. And I will touch a little bit more on that later, but I've had a really good experience with the e-learning platform and I'm glad that we were open to it. So the next reason why I chose Shormann, and not necessarily like the reason we chose it, but it is a perk. I love that Dr. Shormann is a guy. I love having good male role models for my sons. I don't think that's something that we always get these days. So anytime there is a strong leader who, is following the Lord, I just love that. It sets an example for my kids. It gives them something that they can identify with and say like, hey, I want to be like him, because I feel like we don't always get that in society. And so I view that as a big perk. And I'm teaching my kids. I just feel like there's so many female teachers, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not anti-girls. I love the ladies. We're great. I think the moms are great teachers, but that was just really something special and meaningful to me, and I'm grateful for that. So, one thing that Dr. Shormann says is math is a tool to better understand God and his creation. It is the language of science. Math is the language of science. And I really appreciated that. So, Shormann Math does have a biblical and historical foundation. So, it goes over kind of like how math came to be. And I mean, I enjoyed hearing it. I mean, maybe I'm nerdy. I was like, oh, this is so interesting. But I really like that he includes Bible verses and little lessons. And before you take a quiz, it's talking about, how does it say? I can't remember. I'm going to mess it up, but it's talking about having a good attitude and being thankful for the ability to learn. And, even if you don't get it right on the first time, you can try again. And God made your mind so amazing that you have the ability to learn new things and new concepts. And so I just think that has a great heart behind it. And I love that somebody else is speaking life into my child and giving them a good perspective. So the last thing I want to talk about on why I chose Shormann Math is, okay, y'all, when I was researching, there were not very many review videos. I think there were like 2 review videos, and I just could not find any information. I couldn't find any friends who did Shormann Math. Now I know a couple who do, and I was like, where were you? Where were you 6 months ago? But I found an example, I believe it was on the Facebook page of Dr. Shormann's Facebook page, of a mom who is sending her daughter to college, and the college was not going to accept her math credits from Dr. Shormann. And there was a deadline, and there was like a rush of, were these credits going to count or not? And Dr. Shormann stayed up late or woke up early. I don't know what happened, but he, talked with the college and vouched for his program and the credits. And I just thought, wow, like that's really impressive and really shows his character and how he cares about the success of your child. And yeah, that was just super meaningful to me. So I don't remember where I read it. I wish I could like source it for you. I think it was on the Facebook page. So, Facebook doesn't lie. So I do think it's a real story. But anyways, yeah, so that is why I chose Shormann, kind of the thought process behind it all. Next, I'm going to talk about why we like Shormann Math. So I'll be right back and discuss that. Why we like Shormann Math, why I'm giving it 2 thumbs up for my review. The first reason is that e-learning platform that I mentioned. What that means is, my son's doing it digitally, but he gets instant feedback. So when he does the practice set, which is kind of like homework, if you went to public school, that would kind of be the homework portion, he gets immediate feedback on if each question is right or wrong. And I find that so helpful. I remember when I was in junior high school, you could do all of your problems the wrong way, and you do one wrong and then all the following ones are wrong. So I really appreciate that, if you did get the answer wrong, it gives you the opportunity to correct and improve on the next one. And so I just like that immediate feedback. It's really good. The second reason I like Shormann Math, Dr. Shormann is an excellent teacher. He is very well spoken, communicates well. He has different ways of explaining things. So he will explain a concept one way, and then he will explain it again in a little bit different way. And sometimes that little bit different way makes more sense. He'll also give examples of why not to do and why not to solve an equation a certain way. I remember just the other day he said, now you might be thinking, why can't I just do the equation like this? And he's like, well, let me show you why that would be wrong. And I just thought that was fantastic. I know sometimes I can be stubborn or think I know better. Like, I'm just going to do it like this and it'll be easier. And it's like, no, here's why that is wrong. So I just think he's a really great teacher. He is writing the solutions to the questions on the digital screen. And so you get to see him work through it and talk through it. And so I find that Really helpful. Another reason why I like Shormann Math is because you can compare your grades to the average of the class for Shormann Math. And I noticed that when I was researching it, and I thought, oh, that's kind of neat. My son loves that. Every time he takes a quiz or does a practice set, when he completes any work, he'll go and check and see where everybody else was. And I think that's healthy. I think it's good to see like, wow, I could have done better, or, I need to work a little bit harder, or like, hey, yeah, I'm pretty good at this. So I just really appreciate that component of it because we homeschool, we're at home. I don't really know where my kids gauge, compared to everybody else. I don't want to be like a super comparison person. I think that's really dangerous territory. But sometimes it is good to see like, hey, I'm really talented at this, or hey, I could really put more effort into this and work a little bit harder because I want to do good. And, maybe it's just not one of my talents, but I can still put effort into it. So I do like that part. I already mentioned, I'll just touch on it briefly. Dr. Shorman does talk about having a good attitude. He includes Bible verses. And one time he mentioned, obey your parents. And I was like, yes. But I just love that he is speaking life into my child and that he's a good role model. So I love that. It is a high level course. It's an advanced curriculum. I think it's really well done. I'm really impressed with it. So I like that. And also, Dr. Shorman and his team are very receptive to emails and text. They have a text number, kind of like an email type thing that you can do. And they have always answered my questions. They've always been very kind and respectful and, just really well done. You can tell it's a good company. So those are the main reasons why I like Dr. Shorman. I'm sure there are more, but we've had a really good experience with the pre-algebra level. So next I'm going to tell you the things I don't like about Shormann Math. There's always something that, isn't going to be great, and I want to be honest with you guys and equip you to make the best decision for your family and your child. So I will be right back with just a few things that I don't like about Shormann Math. Next, I'm going over the things that I do not like about Shormann Math. The first thing is the video lectures really vary in length. We've had a few that were only 10 minutes long. We've had some that are 30 minutes, 32 minutes. I'd say most are 20 to 25 minutes, around in there, maybe closer to 25 minutes. I just really love consistency. This is a me thing. I'm not saying this is on Dr. Shorman because I understand that different concepts are going to take longer to teach or shorter to teach, depending on how hard, how complex it is. I just really love consistency in my day. I like to know how long things are going to take. And one time we sat down, actually this happened many times, I was like 30 minutes, for just the lecture, and it just seemed like seeing the number, and my son's always looking at how long it is too, and I'm like, oh, but it's just, I appreciate knowing how long the lecture is going to be because it helps me plan my day a little bit. We might watch the lecture and then take a break before we do the practice set, which is kind of like homework. Or we'll split up the video and do, half of it or the majority of it and then go do something for 5 minutes and come back. So it just helps me plan my day when we know how long the videos are going to be. So yeah, that's my thing about the video length. Sometimes he'll have a snack or a fidget toy or something else while he watches the videos. Okay, so that's the video links. Okay, so one thing I don't like also is the e-learning platform is really picky about the labels and the decimal points. So you really have to read the instructions because some of the problems will say only, write your answer to 1 decimal place or 2 or 3 decimal places, or don't worry about a label, but this one you do need to label. And so your child really has to read the directions for each equation to make sure that they get the full credit for that one. So it is a lesson in reading, thoroughly reading the question. So it's a good lesson. The last thing that I'm not a huge fan of is using the protractor. There were a few times where we were using the protractor to measure angles, and we have a touch screen, and so we were put on our laptop, it's a touch screen, and we'd put the protractor up there, and then stuff was kind of going funky. I'm sure there's a way to turn off the touch screen. I don't know how to do that, but that was just something that I wasn't a huge fan of. And I was like, oh man, I do miss paper a little bit. But overall, I'm very happy with the program. So those were the things I don't like. I'm going to wrap up and tell you the things that I wish I had known before purchasing Shormann Math. So I will be right back and try to wrap us up. We made it to the end. Thank you for hanging in there with me. This is the last part. I'm going to go over things I'd wish I'd known. And the first thing is, you have to sign up early for the program. So whatever day you want to start, sign up 1 to 2 weeks before then. I think that's written somewhere on the website. I missed it. Once you buy the program, you get it for a full year, a full 365 days. So in my mind, I was like, I'm going to wait till the last minute to sign up because life. You never know what's going to happen. So I don't want to be in a time crunch. I would like as much time as possible. Hopefully we're done sooner. But it takes 1 to 2 weeks to get loaded into the system because they manually enter everybody. So it's not like a lot of digital things where you sign up and then poof, you're part of the system. It is not like that. So don't wait too long to sign up. They did have an option where it was like, hey, do you need to be rush entered? And I did choose that since I did not read stuff correctly. And I believe they entered me in within like 1 to 2 days. So they have been fantastic anytime I have a question. Okay, the other thing I wish I knew, it is 100 lessons. The Shormann Pre-algebra is 100 lessons. That is not counting, so it's not counting the quizzes, the quarterly exams, or the review for the quarterly exams. The review for the quarterly exams is about a week. So when I first saw that it was only 100 lessons, I thought, wow, we're going to be done in February. We're going to be amazing. Y'all, we're not going to be done in February, okay? It's, I mean, I guess if you, maybe doubled up on some of the quizzes, like if you did a lesson in the morning and then, the quiz in the afternoon, we found the quizzes only take, 2 minutes or 5 minutes. They're usually fairly simple and straightforward. But yes, and also the quarterly review, or quarterly exams, I don't know why I'm saying quarterly review, they have a process of first you go over all your past quizzes, then you do these practice exams, and then you finally take the other exam. And so they're really preparing you and setting you up for success and having confidence in that too. So anyways, it does, a lot time, like if you're planning every lesson out, just a lot time for that. Thankfully, I do backfill planning, so it doesn't really affect me that much, and we kind of go at our own pace. The other thing I wish I'd known is they communicate extensively. The team at Shormann, has pages of directions. And so when we first started, I was completely overwhelmed of, first you do this, then you do this, then you do that. I mean, it was pages of instructions. And I had my husband look it over, or my principal and superintendent, that's my husband. But I was like, I'm nervous, I'm missing something, I'm overwhelmed. And once you start doing it, it's straightforward and simple. It was just a little overwhelming at first. So just be aware of that. The same for the quarterly exams. I was just like, wow, this is so much. I have papers printed about what we're supposed to do in the process. And so I appreciate that the team is communicating thoroughly and they're very detailed. It was a lot for me. So, okay, my last thing is that I wish I had known, because this was our first time doing like an e-learning environment, and he's very click happy with the mouse and just ready to answer a question like, woo, like I read this and I'm ready to answer. And I don't know if it's like adrenaline or what it is, but that I feel like has been my main focus of sitting next to him, has been like, okay, hold on, like read the question. What is it actually asking you, instead of just reading part of it and then like looking for the answer. Just, I don't know. I know sometimes your mind is just like, woo, like firing away. And so just kind of, I don't know if it's because he's in 6th grade, so he's on the younger side, but that has been something that we've been working on. And then, of course, for math, every time I'm like, does that answer make sense? That is like my biggest pet peeve with math, y'all. oh, like, does this answer make sense? So anyways, that's my little math freebie tip for you. But anyway, so that is Shormann Math for you. I give it 2 thumbs up. I have loved it. I love who Dr. Shormann is and his care for the students. The program is very high level and it's well done with a biblical and historical foundation. And so yes, we love Shormann Math. I would love to answer any questions that you have. And so would Dr. Shormann's team. They are phenomenal. So if you have any super specific questions, I would ask them. If you have questions about the experience, I would love to help you. And I wish you well on your math journey. All right. Bye guys.